All right, the highlights from Tuesday, January 29th from GreatStockPicks.com's live trading chat room. If you've seen any of our recent videos, you know we've had JCPenney's on watch, JCP. And today, they came out with news. They're going back to their old format with sales or whatever. But you know what, this chart was already on watch and very close to what I felt was a possible short squeeze. A lot of shorts in it. So anyway, here's the opening 5-minute candle. I kind of took the easy way out. I didn't wait for a pullback. I went ahead and called this long probably about 4 or 5 minutes in, right here at 1950, and I said I'm going to go ahead and kill it if it takes out the low of the day, 1927. So you know, 23 cents risk, and it was either going to work or it wasn't. I really liked the volume, and what happened, you get a little push and then a little pullback, but kept me in the trade by having that wider stop. And I actually added on the high of day break, because this, after the pullback and you get back through the high of the day, this is a trend line I drew on a longer term chart, which I'll show you in a second. Actually added there and ended up with some pretty decent size on JCPenney's, and absolutely made my day. Look at that. It ended up going, I don't have the exact numbers, it ended up going to 2112 from 1950. $1.62 move, stop was only 23 cents risk. And again, here's the daily. You can see that there's that line I had drawn, and a very, very nice push there. So that was my best trade of the day. I also want to share Hess, which I called late in the day. Now, this isn't something I was that interested in, but late in the day I found a setup. If you've seen our video about the magic green lines. Okay, switching to 5-minute candles, and they're really not magic, but it was a catchy title. Okay, Hess had that big gap up and it was grinding down, but this is that green line I talked about in that one video. 5-minute candles, you're saying, what is that green line? It is it tells you right here, the 60, not very good at underlining, the 60 period moving average on 5-minute candles. Why do I do that? Because that is the exact same spot that the 20 moving average is on 15-minute candles. That is often a time or a spot where a stock will bounce nicely, especially one that, you know, Hess was weak on an intraday basis, but it was strong because of that big gap up. So this was, and I went ahead and called it long at 67.33. The stop was only 9 cents below, and it was on the way back up when I called it. So 67.33 never came back down 9 cents. And look at this. Doesn't look like much, but from 67.33 over the last half hour or so, it went to 68.14. On 9 cents risk, you can take a little more size than if you've got 20 or 30 cent risk, and that was a nice way to end the day. And I thought this would be a good stock to include in the highlight video, because it is another great example of using a lower time frame like 5s or 2s when you know you're right at that 15-minute candle 20 period moving average, and that's where that green line represents on this 5-minute chart. So that was super nice. I also called HOG, H-O-G. HOG caught my attention because of the gap down and then the big volume engulfing opening 5-minute candle that engulfed all of yesterday afternoon's base. And so this landed on my watch list. And you see the nice volume too. And then it was kind of putting in a little flag here. So I just called it up if it broke this little flag right there. The idea on HOG, 53.96, worst case stop was going to go below this base. Only 17 cents below, and it held the stop, and finally, at the end of the day, got a very nice push. And then I also bottom picked FTNT here, called this down here, I don't know, like somewhere around 1950. It ended up going to 1980 over the next 20 or 30 minutes using a method we teach. I picked the bottom right there. And between those, and then I also had a couple stocks that were small losers, and I don't want to talk about them, but still have my biggest day since December 10th today. So it was a nice day, and as always, I look back and look at all the things I did wrong and how much more I could have made, but you have to learn to laugh at that, because you'll never finish a day trading where you'll say at the end of the day, I did everything perfect. You know, there's always going to be money left on the table. There's always going to be losing trades. So the sooner you get that in your head and you just laugh it off, as long as you're doing a lot of things right, it'll all fall into place. All right, I'm going to quit babbling. We'll see you guys later.